right, hi guys. Welcome to your first day of e-learning. We're going to keep it short and sweet today. I think that this is totally manageable. So I'm just going to go through 3 examples of exactly what we did on Friday, the last time I saw you. And then I'm going to give you 3 problems to do for an assignment. And you just check Canvas for the details of that, okay? All right, so on the first one, we have a hexagon. We're supposed to find the area of the polygon. So the first thing I'm going to do every time is create a right triangle. Okay, and then remember, I'm just going to find the area of that triangle, and then I'll take that and multiply it by 12. Why am I going to multiply it by 12? Because I can fit 12 of these right triangles inside my hexagon. So I could make a second triangle here. Okay, and then I could do the same thing on this side. I could make 2 triangles. And I could do the same thing on this side, 2 more triangles. So 2 triangles here, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I can fit 12 triangles inside this hexagon, 12 right triangles. Okay, so we all know how to find the area of a triangle. Okay, area of a triangle is always 1/2 base times height. Okay. So if you look at the triangle right now, we only know 2 things about this triangle. We know it's a right triangle, and we know one side of it, okay? That is not enough information to figure out our base. So we need to know our base in order to plug it into 1/2 base times height. In order to find our base, we're going to need to know one of the angles inside the triangle besides the right angle. So what we do is we imagine a circle here. Okay, and there's always 360 degrees in a circle, and I have 1/12 of that, okay, because remember, I can fit 12 triangles inside my shape, 12 right triangles. So I'm going to take that 360 degrees, and I'm going to divide it evenly among the 12 triangles and figure out what this angle is. So it's going to be 360 divided by 12, which is 30 degrees. Okay, so in a 30, 60, 90 triangle, if we know one side, we can find the other sides. Okay, so let me draw our 30, 60, 90 triangle up here just to remind you what that looks like. Okay, so this is n, this is 2n, and this is n square root 3. So that's what all of our 30, 60, 90 triangles look like. So that's what this one's going to look like as well. So that 18 is our n square root 3 side. Okay, so I'm going to jot that down. Some of you can probably find this in your head, but if not, we'll just write an equation. 18 is n square root 3. Okay, now I'm going to solve for n so that I know what this bottom is. So to get n by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by the square root of 3. I now have n by itself, okay? But again, this fraction is not considered simplified if there is a square root in the denominator. So to get rid of that, we are going to multiply by square root 3 over square root 3. And remember, that's just the number 1. Whenever you put something over itself, that's equal to 1, okay? So that's why I'm allowed to do it over here, and I don't have to do it on the other side, because I'm just multiplying by 1. It really doesn't change the value. It doesn't change the value, okay? It just changes the appearance. So our number now looks like this. There's 18 square root 3 in the numerator and 3 in the denominator. And then that 18 divided by 3 can be simplified. So n is 6 square root 3. So that goes here, 6 square root 3. Okay, so now I can go ahead and find area. So area of the hexagon is going to be 12 times the area of the triangle, okay? And again, to find the area of the triangle, we're just going to do 1/2 base times height. So 1/2 the base of our right triangle is 6 square root 3, and the height of our right triangle is 18. Okay, so this is the area of our right triangle. We're going to multiply that by 12 because I have 12 right triangles inside my shape. Okay, so to put that in the calculator, I'm going to put everything in the calculator except for the square root, okay? So I'm going to go, let's see, 12 times 0.5 times 6 times 18. And I get 648. So this is going to be 648 square root 3. And that is approximately, so I have that 648 still in my calculator. I'm just going to hit times square root 3. We get approximately 1,122.4. This 6 means I'm going to round this up to 4. Okay, and this was in meters, so our this would also be in meters, meters, meters. So meters times meters is meters squared, meters squared. Okay, area is always some unit squared, okay? All right, and remember another way of saying meters squared is saying square meters, okay? So that means a square that is a meter by a meter. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, on the next one, same thing we did on the last one. We're going to create a right triangle. And we're going to imagine a circle here. And this time, we are going to take 360 degrees, and we're going to divide it by 8, because I can fit 8 of these right triangles inside my shape. Okay, I can fit 2 on this side, so I can fit 2 on every side. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, 360 divided by 8 gives us 45 degrees. So this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. And they have given me the n square root 2 sides. So I'm going to go back up here to the top of my paper, and I'm just going to show you, along with your 30, 60, 90 triangle, let's remember what a 45, 45, 90 triangle looks like. So it's always n square root 2. Okay? So we could do the same thing that we did on the previous problem where we say, okay, 16 equals n square root 2 and solve for n. But a lot of you have figured out the pattern with that, and you can do that in your head. Okay? Whenever this n square root 2 side is a whole number, this side is going to have a square root 2 with it, and the number is just going to be half of that number. So it's going to be 8 square root 2. If you don't trust me on that, okay, finish this off, solve for n, you'll get 8 square root 2. But if you can do it in your head, that's fine too. Okay? So then this is also 8 square root 2. Okay, so to find the area of the square, okay, we're going to do 8 times the area of the triangle, okay, because we have 8 triangles. So find the area of this triangle, multiply it by the 8 triangles that fit inside the shape. So the area of the triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. Okay, and again, everything here is in feet, feet. So this would be feet and feet. Okay, so just like the last problem, I'm noticing that I have square root 2. So this is actually not just like the last problem. I'm noticing this time that I have 2 square roots, okay? So I have square root 2 times square root 2. And we've talked about that a lot of times, okay? Square root 2 times square root 2 is the square root of 4, which is simply 2. Anytime you're multiplying 2 square roots together that are the same, like square root 3 times square root 3, or square root 5 times square root 5, you always get the number that's underneath. So square root 2 times square root 2 is simply 2. Just like square root 5 times square root 5 would be 5, okay? So, square root 2 times square root 2 is 2, and that would cancel with the 1/2. So the 2 cancels with the 1/2. 2 times 1/2 is just 1. Okay, so I really just have 8 times 8 times 8. Or if you wanted, you could have put that whole thing in your calculator from the beginning. So I'm going to do 8 times 8 times 8, and I get 512. And then I'm going to show you that you would have gotten, and it's feet times feet, so feet squared. Okay, I'm going to show you that you would have gotten the same thing if you put the whole thing in your calculator. So we could have gone 8 times 0.5 times 8 times square root 2, make sure you close it up, times 8 square root 2. So putting all of this in our calculator. And we would also get 512. Okay? And then there's no approximate answer because this came out exactly as 512. There's nothing to do with that. It's just 512. Okay, and then the last one, and I want to mention, guys, that I think the problems that I'm doing here on the notes are quite a bit more difficult than the ones that I assigned to you in your homework. So make sure you're not overwhelmed by any of these. I'm trying to do the harder stuff with you and then give you some things that are a little bit easier on the assignment. Okay, so the last one, we're going to find the area of this big triangle. Okay, and it tells us that the perimeter is 66 square root 3. And if you remember, perimeter is the distance all the way around the triangle. Okay? Up in our directions, it said that all of these were regular polygons. That means all of these side lengths are the same. So I'm going to take 66 square root 3, and I'm going to divide it evenly among the three sides. So 66 square root 3 divided by 3 is just 22 square root 3 for each side. Okay, 66 square root 3 divided by 3 gives you 22 square root 3. You do not need to show that work if you don't want to. I just wanted to show you how I got that. Okay, so that's 22 square root 3. Now we're going to do the same thing we've done in every other problem where we draw in our apothem here, if it's not already there for us, and create a right triangle. Okay? If this entire bottom is 22 square root 3, remember that the apothem bisects that base. Okay? So this is now 11 square root 3. Okay? Let's make a circle here. And let's figure out this angle. This time it's going to be 360 divided by 6, because I can fit 6 of these right triangles inside my shape. 2 on this side, 2 more on this side, 2 more on this side. So 2, 4, 6. Okay? And that gives me 60 degrees. So this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And it looks like I have been given not the hypotenuse, not the short leg, but the long leg. The long leg of a 30, 60, 90 triangle is your n square root 3. So this is our n square root 3. That means our n is just 11, and that goes here. Okay, so we now have enough information that we can find the area of our triangle. Okay, so the area of this big triangle is going to be equal to 6 times the area of this right triangle. And again, I'm multiplying by 6 because there are 6 of these right triangles. 2 here, 2 more here, 2 more here. Okay, so for the area of the triangle, we just do 1/2 the base of the triangle, which is 11 square root 3, times the height of the triangle, which is 11. Okay, and then in my calculator, I'm going to plug in everything except for the square root 3. So I'm going to go 6 times 0.5 times 11 times 11. And I get 363, and then I'll put a square root 3 next to it. This is my exact answer because I haven't rounded anything yet. So this is exact, okay? And then if I want to know, what is that approximately? What is 363 square root 3? I can go ahead and figure that out in my calculator. So I have the 363. I'm going to say times square root 3 and hit enter. And that tells us that this is approximately 628.7. Okay, since there's a 3 next to it, I do not need to round this up. So it's just 0.7. Okay, our units here were centimeters. So everything was centimeters, centimeters, centimeters. And then centimeters times centimeters would give us centimeters squared, or square centimeters. Okay, so that wraps up our notes for today. Again, please keep in mind the ones that I assigned for homework should be a little bit easier. For example, I don't think there are any where the n square root 3 side is a whole number. So I don't think you'll have to do this anywhere. Okay, so it should keep that a little bit simpler for you. If you have any questions, see Canvas. I might put a link on there for like some video conferencing. If not, you can feel free to email me, Canvas message me, use Remind to message me. Any of those are perfectly fine, and we can figure out a way to help you out. Okay? All right. I hope you guys are staying safe and enjoying some downtime. All righty. See ya.